Lean in close to your dog right now and take a real, honest sniff. Not the quick pat on the head kind of sniff. I mean actually get close to their ears, their mouth, their paws. Because here's something almost no dog owner realizes until it's too late. Your dog's body is talking to you every single day through smell. And most of us have been trained to just ignore it, spray some pet deodorizer, and move on with our lives. But certain smells coming from your dog aren't just dog smell. They're actual signals, sometimes early warning signs of things going on inside their body that you cannot see from the outside. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which smells are totally normal and which ones mean it's time to pay very close attention. Stay with me, because smell number 3 on this list is the one most owners completely miss until it becomes a much bigger problem. Before we get into it, if you're someone who genuinely cares about catching health issues early instead of dealing with expensive surprises later, do me a quick favor right now. Hit that subscribe button and tap like on this video. It seriously helps this channel keep putting out free, honest information for you and your dog. And it takes about 2 seconds. All right, let's dig in. Let's start with the one almost every dog owner has noticed at some point: bad breath. Now, I want to be really clear here. Dogs are not supposed to have minty, fresh breath. That's not realistic, and nobody's expecting that. A little bit of a natural doggy smell is completely normal. But there's a difference between normal dog breath and breath that smells sharp, rotten, or almost like something is decaying in there. That kind of breath is very often tied to dental disease, specifically a buildup of plaque and bacteria along the gum line. Here's what most people don't realize though. Dental disease in dogs isn't just about bad breath or yellow teeth. Left unchecked, that bacteria can actually get into the bloodstream and put stress on organs like the heart and kidneys over time. So if your dog's breath has gone from a little doggy to genuinely hard to be around, that's your dog's body waving a flag, telling you it's time to get their teeth checked. Now let's talk about ears, because this one catches people off guard constantly. Take a moment sometime today and actually smell your dog's ears. Get in close to the ear flap. A healthy dog ear should have very little smell, maybe a faint, clean, slightly waxy scent at most. But if you catch a smell that's musty, yeasty, almost like old bread or beer, that is very often a sign of a yeast or bacterial infection happening inside the ear canal. This is incredibly common in dogs with floppy ears because that shape traps moisture and warmth, which is basically a 5-star hotel for yeast and bacteria to multiply in. If this smell is present, you'll often also notice your dog shaking their head more than usual, scratching at their ears, or tilting their head to one side. Left untreated, ear infections can become painful, chronic, and in some cases even affect a dog's hearing over time. The good news, once caught early, these are usually very manageable, but they don't tend to go away on their own. So this is one of those smells you really don't want to just wait out. Here's the one I mentioned earlier, the one most owners completely miss, and it's honestly one of the most important on this entire list. Pay close attention to any smell that's sweet or almost fruity coming from your dog's breath. Most people, when they smell something sweet, actually assume that's a good sign. Like maybe their dog got into something sugary. But a persistently sweet or fruity smelling breath, especially if it's paired with your dog drinking more water than usual, urinating more frequently, or losing weight despite eating normally, can actually be an early sign of elevated blood sugar, sometimes linked to diabetes. This is exactly the kind of smell that's easy to write off as nothing, because on the surface it doesn't sound alarming at all. Sweet doesn't sound dangerous. But in this specific case, it's one of those quiet signals that's absolutely worth mentioning to your vet, especially if you notice those other symptoms alongside it. Catching this early can make a massive difference in how manageable it is long term. Let's move on to another one that a lot of owners notice but don't always connect to something serious, and that's a strong ammonia-like smell, almost like the smell of a dirty litter box or urine. But it's coming from your dog's mouth or their overall body odor, not just where they went to the bathroom. This particular smell can sometimes be linked to kidney function. When kidneys aren't filtering waste out of the body as efficiently as they should, certain byproducts can build up and actually be released through the breath, giving off that sharp ammonia-type smell. Now, I want to be clear, this doesn't automatically mean something is seriously wrong. There are lots of reasons a dog's breath might smell strong. But an ammonia smell that's persistent and doesn't go away, especially in senior dogs, is worth paying attention to and mentioning at your next vet visit. Simply because kidney issues tend to be much easier to manage the earlier they're caught. Now, here's one that's a little less talked about, but incredibly common, and that's a strong, fishy smell, especially near your dog's rear end. If you've ever caught this one, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's unmistakable once you smell it. This is very often linked to the anal glands, two small glands located near a dog's rectum that naturally release a scent when dogs have normal bowel movements. Sometimes, though, these glands can become overly full, impacted, or even mildly infected. And when that happens, dogs will often scoot their bottom along the floor, lick or bite at the area. Or you'll simply notice that strong fishy odor lingering around them. This one is usually more uncomfortable than dangerous, but if left unaddressed for a long time, impacted anal glands can become painful and even lead to infection or abscesses. So, if you're noticing this smell paired with scooting behavior, it's a pretty clear sign that something back there needs a little attention. Let's talk about skin and coat smell now, because this one tends to creep up slowly, so slowly that a lot of owners don't even notice it happening until a guest mentions it. A musty, almost cheesy or yeasty smell coming from your dog's skin, especially in areas like the paws, armpits, or skin folds, is often linked to an overgrowth of yeast or bacteria on the skin surface. This can happen for a bunch of reasons: allergies, excess moisture, hormonal imbalances, or even just a dog who loves swimming and doesn't fully dry off afterward. Alongside the smell, you might notice your dog scratching more, red or irritated skin, or excessive licking at their paws. This is one of those smells that's very manageable once you know what's causing it, but it's easy to just assume your dog needs a bath and move on, when really their skin might be trying to tell you something a little deeper is going on underneath. Now, here's something important I want every single person watching this video to understand. None of these smells I just described are meant to scare you. And I am absolutely not saying every unusual smell means something serious. Dogs are living, breathing animals. They roll in things. They eat weird stuff. They have off days just like we do. The goal here isn't to become paranoid every time your dog has a slightly off smell. The goal is awareness. It's about knowing your dog's normal baseline well enough that when something genuinely shifts, sticks around for more than a few days, or comes with other symptoms like changes in appetite, energy, water intake, or bathroom habits, you notice it early instead of months later. This is actually one of the most powerful things you can do as a dog owner, and it costs absolutely nothing. Once a week, spend just 2 or 3 minutes doing a simple smell and touch check. Smell their breath, smell their ears. Run your hands along their skin and coat, feeling for anything unusual while you're at it. This takes almost no time, but it builds an incredibly clear picture of what's normal for your specific dog, which makes it so much easier to catch something early if it ever does change. Vets will tell you again and again that the dogs who get the best long-term outcomes are almost always the ones whose owners caught something small, early, before it became something big and expensive. I also want to gently mention this, because I think it's important. A lot of these smells, especially the dental and skin-related ones, are things that can genuinely be improved with simple, consistent home care. Regular teeth brushing, keeping ears clean and dry, drying your dog thoroughly after baths or swims. These small habits make a real difference over time. But when a smell is new, strong, persistent, or paired with other symptoms, that's the moment to loop in your veterinarian, rather than trying to guess or wait it out. There's no shame in that at all. That's literally what they're there for. And catching things early almost always means simpler, less expensive treatment down the road. There's one more smell worth mentioning before we wrap up, and it's one that tends to show up out of nowhere, which is exactly why it catches people off guard. A sour, almost vomit-like smell coming from your dog's mouth, even when they haven't actually thrown up, can sometimes point to digestive issues, acid reflux, or in some cases, problems with the stomach lining. A lot of owners notice this smell in the morning, specifically right after their dog wakes up, and just assume it's leftover from something they ate the night before. Sometimes that's exactly what it is, completely harmless. But if this smell keeps showing up morning after morning, especially alongside other clues like your dog licking their lips repeatedly, swallowing more than usual, or seeming a little uncomfortable after meals, it's worth mentioning to your vet. These digestive signals are often easy to manage once identified. Sometimes it's as simple as adjusting feeding times or portion sizes, but they're much easier to handle when they're caught early rather than after they've been building for months. It's another reminder that your dog's body is constantly giving you small clues. And the owners who pay attention to these quiet signals are usually the ones who end up avoiding bigger, more stressful health problems down the road. So let's do a quick recap of everything we covered so you know exactly what to watch for going forward. Bad, rotten smelling breath can point to dental disease. A musty or yeasty smell from the ears often means an ear infection. A sweet or fruity smelling breath, especially with increased thirst or weight loss, can be an early sign of blood sugar issues. A strong ammonia smell may be tied to kidney function. A fishy odor near the rear end usually points to the anal glands. And a musty, cheesy smell on the skin often means a yeast or bacterial overgrowth. None of these mean panic. All of them mean pay attention, and if it persists, get it checked. Your dog can't come to you and say, "Hey, something feels off today." This is genuinely one of the ways they're able to communicate that something's changing inside their body. And now that you know what to look and smell for, you're in a much better position to catch things early, save money, and most importantly, keep your dog feeling their absolute best for as long as possible. If this video opened your eyes to something you hadn't noticed before, I would love to hear about it. Drop a comment down below and let me know which one surprised you the most. Or if you've ever caught a health issue early just because something smelled a little off. I read every single comment, and honestly, hearing these stories is one of my favorite parts of doing this. And if you know another dog owner who could use this information, someone who might be brushing off a smell they shouldn't be, do them a favor and share this video with them. It really could make a difference. Before you go, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next video, because we've got a lot more simple, practical health tips coming that every dog owner should know. Thanks so much for watching. Go give your dog a good sniff and a little extra love today, and I'll see you in the next one.